Traffic again, Chris Barnett, KUAM News. Fresh off that second State of Our Island address from Governor Guerrero, just kind of going over some of the quick points. She did touch on the coronavirus. Said that Guam is coronavirus free. I know a lot of us in the media room cringed at that. We're like, I hope she didn't jinx it. Also, public safety and drugs. The governor unveiled or talked about her plans to build a rehabilitation facility for women. And also self-insurance. This is one of the big things that she dropped. I spoke with the governor this morning. She said, hey, Chris, all of our plans are big. Universal health care. That's what her words were. Self-insurance policy. The governor's saying this will be the primary policy of her team in the coming year. Now, she said that for a few things that she talked about in the speech, including solving the plethora of problems at the hospital. Now, she ended the speech, and you can see the governor there. Interestingly, they've actually cordoned this little area off for photo opportunities. Yes. So I guess the different cabinet members and maybe some of the senators, maybe they haven't had a chance to grab a pic with Maga Haga yet, so there you go. Again, the Gov ending her speech on an interesting note of federal issues, where she kind of called out Congressman Mike Nicholas and say compact impact funding, the renegotiated deal with the FSM, the U.S. government, and Guam doesn't have a seat at the table, so she implored Congressman Nicholas to take the lead on that, and she pledged that her administration would work with Congressman Nicholas. That's the applause. I got to say, the Gov definitely got a lot of applause tonight. All right, very good, very good. And we're going to get into some of the reactions here. And now, I thought it was interesting because the governor in last year's State of Our Island address really went easy. Traditionally when you have a new administration coming in, they're very likely to take some shots at the previous administration. Right. She didn't do that last year, but it's something that she did tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Did you think that was an interesting thing?
Yeah, very interesting, only because of the fact that she's been in office already a whole year. I think she should have spoke more of her accomplishments and what she's done this past year. I think where she was lacking was on public safety, public health, and public education. The three top goals of any administration are those three. She did not really focus into it. She spoke a little bit of it, but didn't go into details on it.
I thought it was interesting. At the end of the speech, she spoke in Chamorro, and she said that they had promised that they were going to help the hospital, and they did. But I read the news. I watch the news. Hospital pretty dire straits right now.
Well, there's still a couple of bills that have been passed by this legislature to give the hospital an additional $10 to $20 million. And I hope that she go ahead and fulfill that promise by giving the hospital what she needs. I do recall during the campaign season where if the hospital needs it, the hospital will get it. So let's hope that, that she will keep that promise and give the hospital exactly what they need. Healthcare is for everyone, and we can't fall short on healthcare because our people cannot continue to keep going off island for medical treatment. We need to start doing it right here at home.
And so what did you think about universal health care? Now, the governor said she's going to make this a priority for administration. There weren't any details, so we don't know how it's going to work. She said something about public self-insurance. So what were your thoughts on that?
Well, the proof is in the pudding on that. So it goes to show how is it going to get funded and who is it going to be on the backs of, right? I mean, they're going to pull the funding from what healthcare they're giving out now, but what is it going to mean to the private sector? Is that going to be an additional tax or an additional fees that the private sector is going to have to pay?
Well, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Of course, former Senator Tony Ada, and I hear we're going to be seeing you a lot more.
Oh, definitely. I threw my hat in for the 36th Guam legislature.
There you go, former Senator Tony Ada. Thank you. And let's get Senator Teresa Lahi, and of course the Legislative Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and I know Senator, the governor touched on a lot of issues that are under your oversight. Maybe if you could just run through the different things that she touched on in the speech and kind of give us your reaction on those things.
Sure, yes. Well, one of them was the Chamorro Land Trust, And I think, of course, I'm very happy that we're designating it an underserved area, and so we can get to the utilities that have been waiting for very long. So that's great. As to the settlement, I think we have to be transparent. That's really what's holding it up, is a need for all the parties to, I think they've had a settlement, but I haven't seen it yet. So that kind of thing, we just need to be more transparent, and we can get things done faster, smoother. But as to the hospital, of course, I'm looking forward to Gita's assessment of all types of financing options. But what I really think is key is that we have a 5 to 7 year period that we have to take care of right now. And the bills that I've put in and that have actually passed unanimously by the legislature, those need to be enforced. And so we need to get the money there. I think we need to show the people of Guam, if we're going to finance a $700 million hospital in the future, we got to show them today that we're willing to sacrifice what it takes to take care of the hospital right now, to make that the priority above every other luxurious spending in the government.
Former Senator Toniata had brought up, and you just mentioned that you had a bill that was allowed to lapse into law, $10 million for the hospital. We're being told that can be implemented. The governor, I felt, gave a lot of lip service to the hospital. What are your thoughts on knowing that you're not getting that $10 million anytime soon, and kind of gauging that with all the things she said in the speech?
Well, that's what I mean. We need to be very clear that talk is not going to work. It's just not going to work. We've got a new budget up on the table. I'm trying to make sure that we don't go through this whole charade anymore, that if they want to talk about the hospital, then they need to put the money on it right now before everything else. And that's really the only way, because we can't play around. We can't play around with their people's lives and safety. So I just can't see any other way. I mean, we can talk about financing, but still, we got to get the money there now. You know, every day that things go unrepaired, we risk a bigger disaster. And so I just think the people of Guam deserve that. They don't deserve to wait anymore.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Senator Teresa. You have a good night. Let's get Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes. Of course, the Speaker has been a very, very great ally for the Governor. Good evening, Speaker. And just right off the bat, I know that the Magahaga talked a lot about things that you've been working on. If you could just give us a reaction to, what you thought were the key points in the speech.
You could tell she touched on all health, education, safety, protecting our children, returning funds to E911, to just adding new officers on the street, taking care of DOC and the fire department, but more importantly, something that resonated to me personally, and that is working closely, letting the first man work closely with the recycling efforts, and truly seeing that that bottle bill will finally be implemented. That's for me personally. But you know, Chris, as we look at protecting our children, as we look at making sure that One Team Guam goes out there and gathers the federal funds that could be utilized for Guam, as we protect our borders, as we work on the Guam buildup, because we know that Camp Blas and the Marine buildup will be here by 2025. We have to have our infrastructure in place, and this is the step in the right direction. Making sure that the rainy day fund has the resources in there, but more importantly, making sure that the funds are available when we facilitate our government moving forward. And that's what it's all about. Still a lot of work ahead, and I just want to say I'm very grateful to the governor and the administration, but our work cannot stop here.
You know, when you talk about Team Guam, the One Guam approach, the last part of her speech, the governor really laid out her thoughts on federal issues. And there was a part where she talked about, we all know they're renegotiating the compact agreement with the FS in the United States. She said, hey, we don't have a seat at the table. She implored the congressman to, go into the weeds on this issue. Your thoughts on that? Because I know that you guys have done a lot of work on compact impact this year.
Yes, we have, Chris, and I just want to share with you, when she talked about that, I was really happy for her, because you and I know that as we look at getting the resources and working on the compact impact and what's due back to Guam, we have never in the history of our time have even come close to any of the reimbursements, and we continue to work with our island brothers and sisters from Micronesia. But it's important as we look at the COFA migrants and just working with our education, our health, and our safety, we know that Uncle Sam still needs to come to the table and reimburse us for all the hard work that we continue to do as an inviting island who continues to open our hearts and hospitality to others out there.
But we got to get paid for it. We got to get reimbursed, right?
We got to get reimbursed.
Okay, thank you so much, Speaker. Have a good night.
Thank you.
There you go, Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes. Hey, remember, tomorrow morning, group chat, we're turning in at the after party. I'm going to have a representative from the administration. I'm going to have former Senator Frank Blas Jr., Minority Leader Senator Tello Tainagui, and senatorial candidate Will Parkinson. That's tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Facebook Live on group chat again from the Guam Congress Hall for what was Governor Lulian Guerrero's second State of our Island address. I'm Chris Barnett, KUAM News. Adios.